You marry him on a Tuesday. The ceremony happens in a colonial church in the mountains of Durango. 400 guests, armed men at every entrance, a priest who was flown in from Guadalajara and paid enough to forget every face he sees today. Your dress costs more than a house. The flowers were imported from Holland 3 days ago. You walk down the aisle and every man in that church stands up, but they are not standing for you. They are standing because the man waiting at the altar controls everything within 200 kilometers. You are 22 years old. He is 41. You met him at a party in Culiacan 8 months ago. He arrived in a convoy of 7 trucks. The music stopped when he walked in. People cleared a path without being asked. He looked at you, smiled, and that was enough. Within a week, your family received gifts. A new truck for your father. Some medical bills paid for your grandmother. A scholarship for your younger brother. Nobody told you what to do. Nobody had to. When a man like him decides you're going to be part of his life, the only question is, what happens to someone who tries to say no? Your new home is a ranch in the Sierra Madre. 3 houses, a landing strip, 2 satellite dishes, a swimming pool shaped like a horseshoe. The main house has marble floors, a chef from Mexico City, and a wine cellar your husband built after a trip to Tuscany. There are guards everywhere, 12 at the perimeter, 6 near the house, 2 outside your bedroom door at all times. You wake up every morning in a bed that costs $40,000 and look out a window framed by reinforced steel. The view is beautiful. Green mountains stretching toward the coast, hawks circling above the canyon. You can see 50 kilometers in every direction. That is the point. The beauty is also the surveillance. Your daily routine takes shape. You eat breakfast with your husband when he is there, which is maybe 3 mornings a week. The rest of the time, you eat alone or with the house staff. You exercise in a private gym. You read magazines that arrive in bundles every 2 weeks, flown in from the city. You watch telenovelas on a satellite TV system that gets 400 channels. You talk to your mother on a phone that changes numbers every 72 hours. You have everything a woman could want inside that compound. Outside it, you have nothing. You cannot drive to town alone. You cannot visit a friend without a convoy. You cannot post a photo online. Your face is a secret the organization protects as carefully as the product routes. The first time you see the money, you stop breathing. It is in a room behind the kitchen of a house on the eastern edge of the property. Stacks of American bills wrapped in plastic, floor to ceiling, wall to wall. The room smells like ink and mildew. A dehumidifier hums in the corner. Your husband walks in casually, like it is a pantry full of canned food. "This is one room," he says. "There are 11 others." You learn that money, at this volume, becomes a problem. It has to move. It has to become something else. Houses, hotels, gas stations, cattle ranches, car dealerships, import businesses. Anything with a receipt. Your name appears on some of these. You own a boutique hotel in Mazatlan. You own a seafood restaurant in Los Cabos. You own 30% of a construction firm in Guadalajara. You have never set foot in any of them. Our lawyers handle the paperwork. Accountants make the numbers work. You sign where they tell you to sign. Your monthly allowance is $200,000 in cash. You spend it on clothes, jewelry, gifts for your family, furniture, art. You fly to Houston for shopping. You fly to Miami for spa weekends. Always with bodyguards. Always under a name that is not yours. You carry a passport from a country you have never visited, issued by a government official who receives $15,000 a month to produce clean documents. You realize the money is endless and useless at the same time. You can buy anything except the one trip you actually want to take, which is walking out your front door alone, in daylight, with your real name. You have your first child at 24, a boy. Your husband cries when he holds him. He cancels meetings. He stays home for 2 weeks. He is gentle, present, warm. He sings old rancheras to the baby at 3 a.m. For those 2 weeks, you almost believe you have a normal family. Then the phones ring again. The helicopters land. The men return. Your husband disappears for 10 days. You raise your son with nannies, bodyguards, and a doctor who lives on the property full-time. Your second child arrives 18 months later, a girl. By now, you understand the architecture of your life. Your children will grow up with horses, swimming pools, and private tutors. They will also grow up behind walls, surrounded by armed men, unable to play with other children. They will never know a public park, a school cafeteria, a birthday party with kids from the neighborhood. Their world is the compound and whatever controlled environments your husband approves. You watch your son, at age 4, salute one of the guards. He saw the men do it when his father walks by. He mimics the gesture perfectly. Something in your chest closes like a fist. Your husband is on every list. Interpol, DEA, the Mexican federal government, the FBI. His face appears on news broadcasts you watch from the living room. The reward for information leading to his capture is $15 million. You sit on a silk couch and watch anchors describe him as the most dangerous man in the Western Hemisphere. Then he walks through the door, kisses your forehead, and asks what is for dinner. The fear lives in layers. The first layer is the government. Raids happen, usually at dawn. You rehearse escape routes in your sleep. There is a tunnel under the main house that leads to a canyon half a kilometer away. You have practiced the route with your children, carrying the baby, holding your son's hand, running in the dark. You did this drill at 2 a.m. on a Wednesday because your husband's security chief insisted. The second layer is the rivals. Other organizations that want your husband's territory, his roots, his connections. You hear about attacks on the periphery, convoys ambushed, safe houses raided, associates killed. Your husband never tells you directly. You learn from the energy in the house. When the guards double, something happened. When your husband makes calls from the reinforced room with the door closed for hours, someone died. The third layer is the betrayal from inside. This is the one your husband fears most. He trusts maybe 5 people completely. You are one of them. The head of security is another. The accountant, the logistics chief, his older brother. Everyone else is measured daily. Loyalty is tested constantly. A man who has worked for the organization for 10 years can vanish overnight because a rumor reached the wrong ears. You learn to never ask about someone who suddenly stops appearing at the ranch. You are the wife of one of the most powerful men alive, and you are profoundly alone. Your old friends are gone. You cannot contact them without risking their safety and yours. Your family visits once a month, escorted in and out by armed convoys. Your mother looks around the compound with wide eyes and says nothing. She knows enough to know that asking questions would make things worse. You have no peers. The wives of your husband's lieutenants treat you with excessive deference. They laugh at everything you say. They agree with every opinion. They bring you gifts. You cannot confide in any of them because anything you say will be repeated to their husbands, and their husbands report to yours. You develop rituals to survive the silence. You garden. You cook elaborate meals nobody eats because the chef already prepared dinner. You learn to paint. Your canvases fill with landscapes you see from the window, the same mountains over and over, because those mountains are all you have. You drink wine in the afternoon. First 1 glass, then 2, then a bottle. You stop when you realize your son is watching you. At night, when your husband is away, the compound goes quiet. The guards change shifts. The generator hums. Coyotes howl in the canyon. You lie in your enormous bed and stare at the ceiling and think about the girl you were at 19. She wanted to study architecture. She wanted to live in Monterrey. She wanted to travel to Barcelona with friends. That girl exists in a parallel universe you can see clearly, but can never reach. You are the boss's wife. You chose this man. Or maybe this man chose you. And the difference between the two things was never completely clear. You have absolutely everything except genuine freedom. You are respected and envied, but never truly known. You constantly live surrounded by people but completely alone in essence. And every day you survive is simply another day in a sentence that began exactly the day you said yes, and that will only end when he dies, or when you die, or when everything falls apart. This is your immovable truth. You didn't build this empire, but you carry the weight of it with the same intensity as the one who founded it. You are a prisoner of a last name worth millions, but that costs absolutely everything. That costs your identity, your spontaneity, the friends you couldn't have, the places you couldn't go, like the questions you learned to never ask. And the darkest part is that you don't even know for certain if you want to escape anymore, because who would you even be on the outside? This is your world. And in this deeply twisted world, you are queen of a kingdom nobody in their right mind would ever want to call home.